Yep, you heard right. This is it. The end of an era, and something I never thought would happen. I'm quitting submitting comic books to CGC. Hi everyone and welcome to Still Only 35 Cents. I thought I'd follow up on my previous video around my recent CGC submission at WonderCon 2025, where I alluded that this may be my last submission to CGC. For years, I've chased and cherished those pristine CGC 9.8s, the iconic keys, the rare and unusual books that I've got graded by CGC. I've poured my heart, soul, and quite honestly, a terrifying amount of money into this hobby over the years. But CGC made a recent announcement relating to tariffs and the impacts on international submissions. But before we get started, usual stuff, if you're new to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button and ringing the notification bell for future videos just like this one. So a couple of days ago, CGC issued an email and a blog post with advice for international submissions for books to be graded. The email read, CGC guidance on international submissions and tariffs. International submissions made to CCG companies should not incur tariffs if the proper procedures are followed. The Certified Collectibles Group, CCG, serves the vibrant collectibles market worldwide through a network of offices and official submission centers. Following the imposition of new or increased tariffs on imports to the United States, many customers have asked about the impact to their submissions to CCG. Fortunately, international submissions to CCG should not incur tariffs if the proper procedures are followed. CCG's recommendation for international non-US submissions. CCG strongly recommends that all submissions from customers located outside the US be made to one of CCG's international locations: London in the United Kingdom, Munich in Germany, Hong Kong in China, Shanghai in China, noting that this option is recommended only for customers located in mainland China. All submissions in mainland China must be made through an eligible official submission center or authorized dealer. And finally, Dubai in the United Arab Emirates, which is coming soon. All of CCG's international offices provide a white glove service that includes shipping, insurance, customs clearance, where applicable, and all associated costs. No tariffs should apply to any submissions made to one of CCG's international offices. A secondary option, not recommended. While not recommended, international submitters with an ability to work with a customs broker may submit directly to CCG in the US by using a temporary importation under bond TIB process, which is not subject to tariffs if done properly. Any international submission made directly to CCG in the US must be made using a TIB, and the submitter must identify themselves as the importer of record. The submitter will also be responsible for any tariffs, duties, or fees associated with the shipment to or from CCG in the US. Please note, any international submitter to CCG in the US must self-designate as the importer of record. Any packages designating CCG as the importer of record will be rejected by CCG, may be held by US Customs, and may incur substantial fees. International packages must go back to the sender's address. CCG will not accept any address changes for international shipments. All return packages must go back to the address where they were shipped from in order to avoid any customs issues. If a submission is made in the US at a trade show, for example, and the submitter requests that the submission be shipped internationally once completed, the customer will be responsible for all shipping costs, including any tariffs, duties, or fees for the returned shipment. Disclaimer: CCG is not a customs broker or law firm. This article is for informational purposes only and does not constitute legal advice. As you can see, despite the options, this presents challenges for many of us international CGC customers, especially those of us in Australia and other countries outside the 5 countries mentioned with CGC offices. Sadly, those routes are more expensive and also add additional steps and thus not a workable option. And as such, as it now appears that any submissions to CGC from Australia would be subject to additional tariff charges. For context, in the past you could send books in because you were using their service and the books would be sent back. There was no import duties applicable. However, it now seems with the introduction of tariffs, it is likely the US Customs will take a tariff on those goods coming into the country unless you use a shipping broker and apply for the TIB. Again, something that comes with additional cost and is not necessarily guaranteed. It's worth noting that it's not just CGC, as PSA also recently announced that they would be suspending all international submissions for trading cards during this period to evaluate the impacts on the tariffs. It's a real shame for the hobby and also personally, because I had a stack of books that I was considering submitting to CGC, as well as trading cards to PSA. The only caveat to this whole debacle is whether you can still take comics into the US when travelling for events like comic conventions. So, with the introduction of tariffs, it appears that international submitters, whether it be cards or comics, their options will either be very expensive or increasingly limited. So, for now, I'm quitting submitting books to CGC and will switch to collecting purely raw books for the foreseeable future. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this whole situation and whether you're an international submitter to CGC like me, and if this news will change your plans when it comes to submitting books to them. We've just launched channel memberships here on Still Only 35 Cents. For just $2.99 US a month, you can join the other price variant members to gain access to exclusive member-only videos and live shows. All the proceeds raised from memberships will be going to the Hero Initiative. Anyway, bit of a downer, but thanks for sticking with me to the very end here. And with that, thanks as always for watching. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you on the next one. Don't forget to check out other great videos, as well as follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and X. We also host a weekly live stream, the Merry Monday Mailcall Show, every Monday morning at 7:30 AM Australian Eastern Time. Enough said.